Gender inequality and women's rights, striving for equality and empowerment. 1. Introduction. Gender inequality and violations of women's rights remain pervasive issues worldwide, despite progress in recent decades. Achieving gender equality is not only a matter of human rights, but also essential for sustainable development and social cohesion. Addressing gender disparities and upholding women's rights are integral steps towards building a more just and equitable society for all. 2. Overview of the problem. Gender inequality manifests in various forms, including disparities in education, employment, political representation, and access to healthcare. Women and girls continue to face discrimination and violence based on their gender, limiting their opportunities for advancement and full participation in society. According to the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, gender disparities persist across all regions, with women often bearing the brunt of poverty, illiteracy, and lack of access to essential services. These inequalities are deeply rooted in social norms, cultural practices, and systemic biases that perpetuate gender-based discrimination and marginalization. 3. Deep dive into the problem. Gender inequality intersects with other forms of discrimination, exacerbating empowering women economically through access to education, vocational training, and financial resources can enhance their socioeconomic status and decision-making power. Furthermore, engaging men and boys as allies in the fight for gender equality is crucial for challenging harmful gender norms and promoting positive masculinity. 6. Call to action. Achieving gender equality is a collective responsibility that requires the active participation of governments, civil society, the private sector, and individuals alike. We must advocate for policies and practices that advance women's rights and challenge gender-based discrimination and violence. This includes supporting women's leadership and representation in decision-making processes, amplifying marginalized voices, and fostering inclusive environments that uphold the rights and dignity of all individuals, regardless of gender identity or expression. By standing in solidarity and taking concrete actions, we can create a world where gender equality is not just an aspiration, but a reality for all. 7. Conclusion. Gender inequality and violations of women's rights are deeply entrenched challenges that demand urgent attention and action. By challenging societal norms, dismantling systemic barriers, and promoting gender-sensitive policies and practices, we can create a more equitable and inclusive world for future generations. Let us commit to working together towards a future where all individuals, regardless of gender, have the opportunity to thrive, flourish, and live free from discrimination and violence. Join us in the fight for gender equality and women's rights. Subscribe to our channel to stay informed and inspired by our mission. Share our content to amplify our message and advocate for change in policies and attitudes toward gender equality. Together, we can create a more just and equitable world for all genders.